from World of Concrete 2019 from the Las Vegas Convention Center. It's no surprise that Jim Baty's with us. Jim has been with us a number of years here. He represents the Concrete Foundations Association. He's managing director, but you also bring another shoe to the fire, don't you?
I wear a lot of hats.
You
a
wear
lot of hats, a lot of shoes, yeah.
A lot of hats, a lot of shoes. Well, this one is pretty unique, and you're going to be interested if you're in the crane business or lifting business at all in this industry, because Jim has some interesting concepts to talk about certification. And that's been a big McGilla, hasn't it?
It really has been. You know, OSHA, in the concrete industry, we've heard an awful lot about OSHA in the last 10, 15 years. And
yes, we
new
have.
Regulations here, new regulations there. Silica was one of the biggest to really be impacting our industry. But from an owner's perspective, from these operators, it really is now crane certification and the operator certification that OSHA has now installed. So that's where we as an association have really been working with our members to understand what is the potential impact, what is the potential opportunity.
And the difference being the operators are in so many different facets of it, not just an operator of a stationary crane, but then you bring in the mobile crane business as well, and the differences in that regard.
That's right. So the operator for the crane that is set up, the stationary crane, that does the heavy lifting, those operators have to be able to certify the crane on the job site. They've got to be able to run the equipment. It's a big piece of equipment with a lot of big loads. But the crane regulation, the operator certification is ambiguous as to where does the mobile crane operator fit in. And this is a guy that has a pretty good sized load on the back of his truck, drives out to a site, drops the outriggers on the crane, offloads his equipment or his load into different places, staging it around the construction site, folds the crane back up and drives back out of here. In the meantime, he's engaged in and around this construction operation. So it really comes down to a message of interpretation. Does OSHA require that of an employer? Maybe, maybe not. But is there an opportunity for that employer to show loyalty to that operator, to create a professional track for them and development, and then show that operator their worth to the company by getting them certified?
And does OSHA care about that?
I think they're extremely concerned about it.
Are they really?
Yeah, I think, and you know, anytime that there's ambiguous regulation that's out there, you're going to leave it to interpretation, and when you leave it to interpretation, I think it's often going to side on the perspective of OSHA, because they're the ones that come out and do the inspection. Whereas the operator, the owner, the owner can say to the operator, let's get you certified, then there's never a question. If OSHA wants to come out and inspect the job site, we know you're certified, but more importantly, we've also demonstrated here's a way for you to grow in this company.
Right. Interesting enough, you wrote an article recently that pins us down to a certain couple of focus points. Do you want to allude to that?
Yeah, so the article that you mentioned, it really establishes looking at the unique operation of these mobile crane operators. The regulation really simply says if an operator drives out to the job site and is delivering equipment or delivering a payload to the job site, they're not engaged in construction, then that operator does not need to be certified. And so my article then goes through the acts of particularly foundation contractors and how do their operators run trucks in and around their businesses.
Sure.
Most of the time we're going to see those operators engaged in some form of the construction. They may be staging their baskets directly in line with dual function, where there's workers present, where they're being justified to place things for certain measures of efficiency. And so my article really talked about that, is establishing here are criteria where you as an owner can make the decision should you get your operators certified.
Very interesting concept, is it not?
It is. I think what we're trying to establish is that in this day and age, employers have the opportunity to always take the positive side. It's going to be a little bit of investment on their part, but it's a measure of protection as well as professional development. We want owners to see that. We want these owners of concrete companies to see that they should be driving themselves deeper into higher level ownership.
Well, I'm just thinking next year at this time, we'll be talking about what aspect of this whole topic?
Well, I would say, I would say we're probably talking about where owners are going as leaders, and how do owners identify themselves in the marketplace different from their competition. Everyone can play in a lower dollar game, a low bid estimate type of a field. Where we're going to see the market grow is going to be those owners that establish themselves as true leaders in their marketplace. Destination employers is kind of a way that we describe them.
Kind of puts on a different hat from concrete foundations, doesn't it?
That's right. That's what we enjoy to do, though.
Jim Baty, always a pleasure.
Roger, it's
really
great seeing you again.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Jim Baty, who's Managing Director, Concrete Foundations Association, with a message on crane certification, and an important one for this industry. From World of Concrete 2019.